Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode. Today we are looking at TEW 9, which has been out a few weeks now. We are going to be doing some top tips today. The game's been out, like I said, a few weeks, and picked up a few things along the way, and just some stuff I've known for a few years, and the other versions of the game that are still helpful today. So please sit back, relax, and hopefully this will give you some inspiration. It'll be mainly aimed at new people to the game, but there might be the odd little nugget in there for other people. So with that, let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to look at, again, which is really important, is the handbook. You can get it from any particularly part of the game. So your roster screen, it's up here. When you're in the booking screen, it's on a similar window. You can access it anywhere. It has got a new feature where you can search now, which is amazing. Say you were looking for match lengths, you would just put that in, and there you go. Everything you need to know. It'll even pull up stuff that is related to it. So stamina for length of matches, lack of psychology note, and stuff like that. Match lengths, there you go. So the handbook, definitely read through it all. I recommend it if you've got time. You can always ask on the forum, because there's always really helpful people on the Grey Dog software forum. But for a top tip in your spare time, if you want some, if you enjoy reading, it will really help you with the game. Or just for a quick search during, if there's something you don't understand, then yeah, go for it. It'll be really helpful. So tip number 2 is know your product. Whenever you start a game with a new save, it's always good to check this out. So with SWF, it's a sports entertainment classic, and these settings here are really important to know. Again, you can use your handy little question mark for the handbook here, which is tip 1. I'll probably use it throughout to give better explanations for things. But my match focus is 3 ring circus. So if you wanted to know what that was, you would click here and you can write in 3 ring circus, or you could write in match focus. So 3 ring circus is the rating calculated on average of the main event plus 2 highest rated other matches. If there are less than 3 matches, then the average of the remaining match is used. So with that, it's good to know that. It's good to check this bit as well about matches. So if TV shows, it's 65% matches and 35% angles. That's what the fans will expect. And 80% matches, 20% angles on pay-per-views or premium live events, whichever you want to call it. Matches are rated on quality versus popularity. It's 40-60 or 60-40, so it's good that you get the like both ends of that spectrum. Obviously don't use upsetting or dangerous or controversial or blood type matches. Again, this is just for the specific product. It'll be different for every product that you pick. Matches less than 15 minutes will not be able to achieve world class scores. So when I'm using 3 ring circus, to get the absolute best out of the matches, if I want to get to try and achieve those world class scores, the better chance of getting them, I need to do at least 15 minutes in the match, and that's not including the ring time. Like the coming to the ring, you get like 2 minutes for them to get to the ring. So it'll be like 17 minutes minimum from the time spent on the match to try and achieve at least at the most 100%. But with SWF, I want to be getting at least 82 for the 3 matches, because to get the highest scores, it's rated on 3 of the best the main event and 2 other matches. So I want to have at least 3 at 15 minutes to give me the best chance of getting that. And then my other 2-3 matches, depending on what I want to do, will be like aimed at mid card or an upper carder defeating someone down the bottom of the card to like keep the momentum high. But I'll go into more on that when we get to booking the show. So yeah, go through all of these. It tells you what you'll be penalised on. So the angles that are primarily based on sex appeal have their overall rating limited. But if they were, if you had a female wrestler for example, in the background, just looking pretty while some guy's cutting a promo, then it shouldn't be limited. It'd only be if it was just based solely on that. Yeah, everyone should be using a gimmick on this, or they'll get a large penalty. So yeah, make sure they've got a gimmick. It does warn you on the front screen, if on the first screen that you're on, of who hasn't got a gimmick and who hasn't got a role on the show. Yeah, so yeah, storylines are really important. I'll go into storylines. Therefore, companies of medium-sized or less need one hot storyline running, and because I'm bigger than that, we're set it big. We need, I think, at least 3, and the minimum heat for big is 65. So you want to be achieving higher than that in your angles and your matches. So yeah, if you're close to the limit, maybe chuck someone with more popularity, like in this instance, Rocky Golden or Remo are my 2 most popular wrestlers. So if you've started a new storyline and you maybe with 2 mid-carders, put them in a tag match with Golden and Remo involved, maybe, or just one or the other. People higher up on the card, just to give them a boost to start off with, so you've got a bit of creative freedom going on. But again, I'll touch more on storylines later. Yeah, so go through all of these. Again, if you're not sure, click on the handbook. But I think one of the new ones that I've seen, I didn't see this in the last one. When medium-sized or greater, the company will get penalised for using workers with a background in adult entertainment. So yeah, that's new. So it's always good to check out like as much of the different areas of the game, because there could be new stuff in there. So I hope you found that helpful, and with that we'll move on to the next tip. So the next one we're looking at is storylines. Again, really important, especially for a sports entertainment company or a company of high popularity. It's always good to check every screen, because on the handbook it said 3 storylines. In the product one it said at least 3 storylines when you're medium above. It's actually 5. I need at least 5 storylines rated hot or above. And again, I've checked the handbook, which I'll show you. So if you write storylines in, it tells you down here, the following figure gives each company the size, the minimum heat level for the storyline. As I'm big, it's 65 minimum heat. You need to have at least 3 active at this level, and 2 need to be furthered each show. Yeah, so I've added a few on here and moved along a bit. I'm just using the storylines that they start with in the game, and I've added a few more. This isn't how I prefer to run my storylines. I prefer to group them differently, which I will do in a total different video. But as I'm just playing through it for the first few times with different companies, just to get my knowledge up to scratch, I've just gone with the normal way. We've just put in 2 teams together, or a triple threat, or singles feud. But I prefer to do it with my champions as the storylines, and then contenders. So I would have, say, I'll use real world example. If WWE, so if my champion is Gunther, I want his next opponent at the next show, and potentially the one after that. Say it's over 6 months. I would have Gunther feuding with Damian Priest, because that is going to be the rematch. But after that, I want him to focus on Randy Orton. So I would have Randy Orton and whoever he's feuding with. Say it's Kevin Owens now. I know it's not going to be that, but those 4 would be my in my championship. So they're my number 1 contenders. So there's 4 guys in there. I can have them mix up on the shows. I know they're probably not on the same brand, but I'm just using it as an example before people go in the comments. So those 4, then they can have tag matches, or they could have tag matches with other guys in, because you only need 1 person on each side, 2 people to further a storyline. So it could be Gunther and The Miz versus Kevin Owens and one of the Street Profits, and it would still further it because there's 2 guys in the storyline that could further that on. So yeah, then I would have my SWF Championship Contenders /1, because I would have my next 4 guys in there. So again, I always think further down the line. I always have an Excel sheet. Here, for example, I'm at the minute I'm just tracking popularity losses and stuff like that. I like to get to build my knowledge on it. So there we go. So these are the changes that happened from the show, from promos and matches. So Scythe went up to a 79 rated, Valiant went up to 78. So that's just an example there of some of the stuff I look at. But I always have Excel, I have it planned out, building towards, say, your WrestleMania or your Supreme Challenge. Who is going to be the main event match for that, and then who they're going to feud with to get there. So usually I book it over a year. Obviously things change, injuries, people leaving, new people coming in, but I love that I can change the whole year within one signing, which I can show you in a second from this save. Who I got luckily in SWF. I did mention it on the forum, but Nicky Champion became available. He still hasn't made the move, but I've got him. I think it's only a few days before he's just working for us and I can use him on screen, but I've been doing hype videos about him coming. So yeah, storylines can change along the way, but yeah, so back to the point. Have a plan. The way I do storylines, I have my contenders, my championship contenders, so who's the top 4. Then the next 4 would be in feuds there. Say it would be, oh god, I'm running out. John Cena, Jake the Snake Roberts, The Big Show, and why are these the most random people that are just popping in my head? And Kane. They would be the next in line for after Gunther's taken down Orton, he's taken down Kevin Owens. So at the big pay-per-view, I want him to face Cena. So Cena would be in this little bubble here of other guys feuding with, in tag matches and singles matches, obviously in angles. I'd probably have a bigger plan than just this is why, but then I'm building up the path. Then potentially I could have more contenders for the championship. Say I don't want them to be in my Intercontinental title feud or my SWF North American feud, which is currently Spade and Hollywood Bret Starr in this one. So guys like Jungle Lord, Joey Morgan, maybe he's Angry Gilmore if you didn't want him in the title contention, because I always look at wrestlers' ages and whether they're in time decline, which it tells you. When you're booking a show, there's a little thing you can turn on. I forgot what it's called off the top of my head. It's the dirt sheet, that's what it's called. So when you've booked a match, you can check the Road Agent notes, or you can click on the dirt sheet and it'll give you the ups and downs. But it does tell you if somebody's in time decline. So Valiant in this save, Rogue, Angry Gilmore, James Prudence, like all the guys around 40 plus, those could potentially be in time decline. Where's age at? Oh, there. So if you could put 39 because you want to see the guys. So Gilmore's 43, he could potentially be. Brandon James could be. It does mention he could be near retirement as well. James Prudence, John Greed, Jungle Lord, Rogue, and Valiant. So I would obviously first show I'd potentially book these in a specific match and then check the dirt sheet to see if they're in. If they are, their skills are going to start to deteriorate. So it's time, probably for me, I would start moving them down the card to get the next guys up. So that's on my sheet here. I have the live pop of where everyone is. So Jungle Lord, for me, he doesn't add really. He can get decent matches, but he doesn't really add anything. I need to get the next guys ready. So I had him lose to Stephen Parker, and then you can see it was on the first show. So Stephen Parker starts at like 55. He's had a couple of victories over Lenny Brown and Jungle Lord, because for me, I want him to be higher up. Where is he? Mainstream Hernandez has shot up. I think he started at 55. It might have been 57 for Parker, but he's up to 62 now. So I keep this list refreshed and in order, and then I just have him beat people slightly higher up on the opposite side. So he's a heel. I haven't beat the babyface, so maybe I'll have him beat Matty Faith. But again, that's just preference. I want Hernandez to be higher up because he can get better ratings. He's great on the mic and he's great in the ring. And he's got really good star quality and charisma, which gives him boosts. So yeah, the higher up the card he is, the better for me. Yeah, so storylines, really important. It's up to you how you do them. You can do it the normal way. Like I say, I prefer to do it the other way. It helps with the match, because like I said earlier, you can get penalised for not having matches over a certain time limit, or if there's not an associated storyline, it will get penalised. So if you have it in there and your storyline's hot, so you could always have it so you have people who are really good in angles and people who are always really good in matches, to give you that mix to get the best ratings possible. And then you can have your tag teams in the same. You can have 4 tag teams, 3 tag teams as your contenders, and you can have them have singles matches and tag team matches against each other. Then the next level of contenders in a different storyline. Yeah. Obviously, if you've got a smallish roster at the start, maybe just have 3 guys in there in each one and 3 teams in there. It's up to you, and then you can have your lower card guys in one. Yeah, so hopefully you found that helpful. We'll move on to the next one. So now we're going to look at creative. Again, for new people, or if you're new to a specific promotion, have a look at what your, I suppose, booking committee or your backstage staff, what they think are your franchise players. So these are the ones that the people come to see. These are your most popular wrestlers. These are the ones that you should be pre-booking. It'll give you a boost to the show in attendance and whatnot. Your next big things, these are the ones who are the future of the company, the franchise players. These are the ones with popularity, star quality and whatnot, that are going to be those guys. Maybe not so much now, but down the line they maybe have a really good destiny role to hit those heights. Hot prospects are the ones who are who have probably got a good destiny role and are going to be like your best in-ring talents. So good for maybe not your main eventers, but they're going to be great in the ring. So it's always good to keep an eye on those. Talk the talk. These guys and girls, depending on your promotion, they're going to be the ones you put in angles to talk. They've got charisma and mic skills, and an impressive star presence and things like that. So yeah, put them in the ring together, have them have a back and forth promo, and yeah, watch the results of those 90 pluses come flooding in, potentially, depending on where you put it on the card. Showstoppers, they are the ones that will get you the best ratings in matches. They can steal the show. So yeah, but if you put these together, they're going to create magic for you. Your ring generals, they are the ones who can get good matches with the deadest of deadwood of your roster. So your Avalanche for SWF, your Omos, maybe he's in WWE. They're going to get a decent rating out of them. And then your who's hot, so who's got the best momentum, and yeah, who's not. So maybe they need a gimmick change, maybe they've lost a few matches and they just need a few wins. So yeah, these are good to keep an eye on. Hidden gems are just people who are not in the company who they think would be a good fit. And yeah, Sorry, my game froze a bit there. So yeah, hidden gems are people outside of the company who they recommend you bring in and who could be a good fit. So with that, let's move on to the next one. The next one we are going to look at is the booking team. So this is new to the game. You don't actually have to have a booking team, it can just be yourself, but the more you have in, the more creative energy they'll create for you to spend. So you've got a stored creative energy ideas here. I always add if they're going to be good or not. The sure hit ones I'm going to give to the most important parts of my show. So the start of the show is always a good one, the last angle of the show, and the one in the sort of middle of the card where the peaks, and because your show should have should start high and then you should cool them off and then heat them up again and cool them off. So yeah, those are the ones where you want to definitely get it right. And then your gambles and big gambles, it's up to you whether you use them. But I've chosen to fully stock out my booking team. So you can spend the creative energy on a creative finish for a match, which will give it a boost. Yeah, at the same time, Squeak McLean is having onset morale issues. I don't know how long that's going to last for. But yeah, the more shows, every show you put on, you'll get the creative energy from you guys in the booking team. So, and you can spend it along the way. So yeah, it's definitely good to have one, but you don't need to. You will give creative energy on your own. But yeah, there's people who don't creatively work together, so they'll get a little penalty, and then there's ones who will boost it, but you wouldn't know unless you put them in there. Yeah, so the other guy who I could have put in here was Joe Sexy, but then there would have been another wrestler that would have been upset from him being in there. So if I go to Joe Sexy and then go to personal details, yeah, openly hostile towards Des Davids. So Des Davids would be then upset. So again, he's high up on the card, so I didn't want to put Joe Sexy in there. So yeah, you've got a lot of politics. So yeah, if there's people you don't want to upset, don't put their rival in the booking team, unless you like the chaos, of course. Right, so that's the booking team. It's definitely worth using to get those boosts, especially early on in the game, while you're still trying to figure things out. Next we're going to look at another new feature to the game, which is Inner Circle. So your Inner Circle consists of a number of optional roles that you can hand out to people on the roster. So the first one is a locker room leader. So there's pros and cons to all of these. Locker room leaders are core workers who are known to have your ear. They impact the locker room environment. So a good locker room leader would be well respected, have the positive role models who are taken care of, and that their morale doesn't get too low. They also need to have experience of being in the ring, so should either be an active or retired one. Locker room leaders who don't get on can be particularly damaging to the atmosphere backstage, so it's always good to have positive people in there and try not to have people who don't get on. So if Joe Sexy wouldn't get on with Des Davids, if he wanted them to be locker room leaders, it would have an impact on the backstage morale. Your chief enforcers, these are the ones who are going to deal with people turning up late and whatnot. So they need to be tough. The good thing is when you go to select them in any of these, you can click search at the bottom and you can filter out ill-suited candidates, so it'll just give you the ones who are best for the role. So yeah, head of talent relations, this does take away you won't be dealing with the backstage incidents so much. You'll be passing it on to someone else. Obviously this gives them a bigger wage demands because they're taking on a lot of responsibility. The ones who are well respected, professional, people orientated are best for this role. If they're doing a poor job, it can have huge ramifications on the backstage role. So they deal with the outcomes of incidents for you, so it's up to you whether you want to have one or not. Again, you don't have to for anyone. The morale officer obviously needs to be upbeat and friendly. If you don't use them right and they become unhappy, then it will have a negative effect on your backstage morale. Plus, there's certain people who don't want to get involved in stuff, so they can get annoyed. Your senior road agent, again, they'll get higher wage demands. The downside is that the power can go to some of the people's heads, negatively impacting their behaviour over time. So if there was only one road agent in the company, then it doesn't matter. Again, you can filter to find out who'd be good for the role and whatnot. Same with the referee, it's very similar. Your men's trainer and your female trainer, they will get more wage demands, so there's a negative, but they will, if there are people to train, then they will train their basics and whatnot to make them, and the safety. So if you've got any inexperienced workers with low stats in those areas, the trainer will help with that on both female and the male side of things. The stooge I haven't really used. It is hard to get somebody to do it, but you have to really look after them, or else they will cripple your backstage morale. So yeah, it's a good addition. It does save some time, especially if you've got a head of talent relations and your chiefs and forces. They will keep your locker room happy. But I'm guessing, because I haven't done that far into the future, I'm guessing some of them will get big heads and become negative, so you might have to change, which again could cause issues. So I would test it out, definitely. But there you go, that's that one. A big tip as well, when you start a new save, obviously you haven't got workers' momentum ongoing, your storylines are set at a certain level. It is going to take a few shows to start getting those good ratings. So for SWF, to please my network, CNN, I need to get an overall rating of 81. So I didn't on the first one. I have done it before where I've got 81, 82 on the first show in other saves during the beta and whatnot. But it took a lot of trial and error to figure out. I think the ratings are slightly harsher and more volatile than the last TEW. So again, I'm still learning as I go. But yeah, I got some good ratings in there. I have a B show as well. I always have a B show. It's good for your mid-carders to get wins over your lower carders, and your lower carders to get wins over talent that you bring in on one-term deals like local wrestlers and stuff like that. So to help their momentum, because yeah, you want your roster to be as good as possible to help those ratings. The higher momentum everyone has, the better the storylines are, the better the show ratings and whatnot. So the second show I did manage to get that 81 show rating. Then it was my pay-per-view, I got an 86. So people were starting to click now. Obviously you're going to have your main feuds against each other, your top guys on pay-per-views, so the ratings are going to be higher. Again, and I managed another 81, and then I managed an 83. So it took 4 TV shows and a pay-per-view before things started to get higher. Momentum started to grow. People's popularity started to grow from viewership on your TV shows and stuff like that. So yeah, don't get disheartened if you get a really low rating. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep experimenting, and you'll get there. It does get easier as the game goes on. So the next tip is around building momentum and popularity. If momentum's high, it gives a boost to match ratings and to angles, and those, if I think it's like 10, if they're definitely 10, if they're 10 over what their popularity level is on the rating, they're going to get a boost. The bigger your TV network or my tip, if you're big enough and you've got the money, is to set up if you go to investments, launch your own network, launch your own broadcaster. I tested it out once on this, and it does cost a lot of money, and you don't make as much money on this version as you do on TEW20, but I was still making money. Obviously, the more people you get in your shows out to, the more that your roster's going to improve. So I used the example earlier for mainstream Hernandez. If you track his popularity, I've only been doing a month's worth, but he started off at 55 popularity and he's up to 60 now. Again, it's only been a few shows, but to help build that momentum, I give him victories. You can't check his match history on here. Is it on here? Match history, yeah. There's another tip. That's where match history is. So yeah, they right. It goes from down bottom up. So they had a victory over the Dallas Cowboys, which obviously would have given them he was like 10 behind Ranger on popularity. So that'll have give him and Dominic D'Souza a popularity increase. I'd set out one of my targets. Like, it's up to you. Who are you going to push? Who do you want to go up the card and who you want to come down the card? It's always good to move people around. Like I said earlier, the people who are getting into time decline, it's up to you. You can keep them as a legend if you want. I always pass that popularity on to the younger guys to give them a chance in the main event to see if they can sink or swim. Then on Uprising, it doesn't matter on B shows. It does help their momentum though if they keep racking up wins. They had a loss to Angry Gilmore and Joey Morgan because that's who they're going to be feuding with. Then they beat. They teamed with Stephen Parker to beat Ernest Youngman, Joey Morgan, and Kit Keenan. So again, if there's people in there with higher popularity, they're going to steal some of that. And then again, this time they lost to Gilmore, Morgan, and Ernest Youngman. This is, again, I'm trying to get Ernest Youngman over, but I'll show you an example from my sheet from earlier. He started off at 57 or 55, I can't remember now, but he's up to 60. I've got another SWF save where I've got him up to 62. And pretty much I always have it starting at everyone's popularity if they're heel or face, and then I know if I want to get them higher up. So the next guy you'll be beating is Faith. He'll take some popularity from there, and then he'll move up. So that's like short-term planning, long-term planning. The more wins they get and the better angles they're in, the momentum will go up. The more viewers they have on them as well helps their popularity grow, especially Ernest Youngman. You get him on TV shows because he starts with like 19 pop in some areas. I think in Tri-State he's up to like 43 at the start. But the more you feature him on shows, even your B shows, if you've got it on your network and it's like big, very big or huge, I think he'll get up to like 38 rated or something like that in each area, and then it takes a bit longer to get more popularity, but by that time you can start having him beat your lower carders and then work up to your mid carders and then up the upper echelons. But he's that skilled, by he gets to like your mid card, he'll start to put on really high rated matches, which if it's 10 above what his popularity is or more, then he'll start to gain bigger popularity increases. Even if you can't see it, it could be, say he's a 52 rated popularity, and he puts on a 67 rated match, he may go up to 52.8, which is a hidden behind the scenes, but it's a boost, and then the next show he could go up to 53. So yeah, that is a momentum and popularity overview. It's probably dead simple, but sometimes people overthink it. I think I've touched on everything there. There is something else I want to think. There is something else I wanted to get across. Let me pause it. Yeah, the other thing to mention is if you've got guys in storylines, it's always good to make sure you have people changing from who's doing well in the storyline. So if someone's just totally dominating, the ratings will tank and it'll penalise. You have to have like ebbs and flows in storylines now to keep them hot. Otherwise, if nothing really happens in them a couple of shows in a row, then you will get a mention at the end of the show, and you will be penalised for that. So yeah, that can affect the momentum and popularity of workers as well. So yeah, that's that. I'm just going to touch on a few things from the last game that were confusing. People couldn't find it, but again, they're not on this main screen. To change a specific worker's picture, it's up here. You've got to click on the name there, and then you can change the picture here. This will then, you can set an alter ego from that. You can change the name, you can change what they do. Obviously sometimes you'll have to speak to the worker to ask them if you wanted to have this referee become a wrestler. You would have to ask him, and if he said yes, which would be crazy for you to do, you can tick wrestler then. But at the minute it won't let you tick anything else that they haven't already agreed to in the well, not they've agreed to, but which is in the database in the editor. You can set a division, you can set which brand they're on, what category division you want them to compete in or be recognised in. If you want them to have a manager, you can add it here, but there is a button on here for that as well. So yeah, that's how you change a picture. And gimmick, you can change it there, but there is a gimmick details button there now. In the contract is where if you wanted to release someone, or if you wanted to negotiate further, whereas it used to be hidden behind the popularity tab, there was like an arrow there. So yeah, it's now in contract in the release there. Yeah, so that's two little tips there that you may not have known, especially if you're just new to this version of TEW. I briefly showed this earlier on in one of the other tips, but it's always good to have an Excel sheet, or there is a booking sheet somebody on the forums has made. I will leave a link to a YouTube video that they've made on how to use it. I haven't tested it out yet, but it looks really good. I think I used it in previous versions. So yeah, check the description for that. And yeah, so I always pre-plan the shows of what's going to happen. This is just a short-term save, but I have ones where I'll book all the way up to Supreme Challenge, or if WWE up to WrestleMania. I'll have who's going over what. I'll usually have a tab with storylines on for the month or over a few months. So in here it's called route, but say this was January, February, March, April, May, June. Say Golden is feuding with Des Davids. Maybe it's only 2 months, so I would merge that and have it written there that they're going to feud for 2 months. Then what would this would be my SWF title. Maybe his number one contender would be here. So the next feud down, say Remo is going to be the next challenger. Remo is going to defeat Joey Morgan. They're going to have a 2-month feud, obviously to coincide with it. And then then that would come up here now as in the championship level. So Remo, yeah, I'm just using a blank. I've just realised I'm using a blank sheet. I should have maybe done this beforehand, but yeah, it just shows you how you can build it. All the way up to Supreme Challenge. So who's going to be feuding with who, and then it can link in with your storylines within the game. Like I said, I've already touched on how I prefer to do storylines. I'll do a whole video on it, which will have it built up, and I'll have my spreadsheet up to date with everything on there. So yeah, look out for that one. But yeah, I definitely recommend using Excel or Google Sheets or the booking tracker that I should have wrote down the name, but I haven't. But yeah, like I said, in the description there'll be a link to that. You have to link it up to your save file every now and then, every few months to get it like all the stats updated. But yeah, it's really good. Next we're going to look at is worker chemistry. Obviously these can be amazing for tag teams and for feuds. So we'll set to positive chemistry. Yeah, I just want people to see that. So Brandon James has good chemistry when being managed by Chris the Angel, which is great. If they didn't, why have they been working together for so long? I always think, like, if you're starting a game and there's something pre in the editor, like somebody's the manager, if they haven't been set as negative chemistry, it should just stay either normal or there should be a chance it could get good chemistry. But that's just my thinking, because it's awkward when you come in and Valiant's been managed by Hannah for years and then all of a sudden they've got bad chemistry, and it's like, well, it doesn't make any sense. It might to you, but to me it's like, well, surely they would have changed it. So yeah, it's alright. To test chemistry, if you're a big enough promotion, I recommend using house shows. I always do that. Or you can use your pre-show or your B-show if the workers are set to do that. So let me go into house shows. There they are. So you can use your house show booking. You can put two workers together, either as opponents, to be managed by, or as in a team. Say I wanted Mainstream Commanders and Stephen Parker. So I used that in TEW 20. Sorry, they were the tag team I wanted to build up. I want to see them as partners. So start monitoring. So on the next few house show links, they'll be together, and then your road agent will come back and they'll tell you that, oh, they've got great chemistry, no chemistry, or poor chemistry. But then you know, I'll not team them up. And it goes into your chemistry tracker. Chemistry is really important. Like I said, it will give you boosts to matches and angles for managers and whatnot. So yeah, definitely use your house shows, use your pre-shows, especially if you do long-term booking like I usually do. Yeah, get them planned in and used, and then you won't get to a main event of a pay-per-view and it absolutely tank, which absolutely sucks. So yeah, there's another little tip for you. The next tip is to do with making money. Like I've said before, TEW9, you don't make as much money. You used to make crazy money dead easily in TEW 2020. It's been nerfed a bit, but to help with making money, you still obviously make money. It's still easy to make money. It's just you used to make it just super quick. You could be like a billionaire within months. Set your merchandise to rapid. Obviously have a read through it depending on what level you are. But if you're big enough, SWF, WWE, get to the highest point, and you'll start raking in money from your workers and from your own company merchandise. So yeah, there's a big tip there. Next up, if you're a big enough promotion and you've got a development company, how to get them a pay-per-view deal or a TV show deal. Obviously you'd have to go into events and create a TV show like idea for them and to get it on a network, but we'll do this with events because I haven't done it for RIPW yet. But if you want your workers to start growing in popularity, it's always good to get them on a network. Even better if you've created your own one, which is like really high level, you can put them on your own network. So in this one, I'm just going to quickly show you. So Wrestle World, it's a good one to start with for that level in America. So negotiate. So you want a new deal for their events. Obviously, if you had a TV show, you could select that as well. See what we can get. See if we can get a couple of years. No, they're only willing to do it for a year. See if we can get 25%. Can we get 30? We could get 55% of that. Yeah, I never mess with the purpose of it. Yeah, you want it on demand. So there we go. We have got our development company's events on WrestleWorld. See if we can get the TV show on there as well. Can we get more than the nope. Unlimited on demand. And again, we can get 55%. So yeah, we've got our development company, TV show, and pay-per-views now on, or events on WrestleWorld. Like I said, if you had your own, like I always call mine the SWF Universe, you would find it in there and you just add it on, because it's technically yours, so you don't have to negotiate or anything like that. But if it's like, if you've got it big or huge in America, their popularity will shoot up because they're getting to work in front of more eyes, so their popularity will grow, which is always good for you, because then you don't have to have them appear in angles which is going to potentially harm other people if they're in storylines and whatnot. They come in with a decent set of popularity. You can have them beat your lower carders and then work up the card. So yeah, hopefully you found that helpful. The final tip on this one, I will have more coming soon, but I don't want to chuck everything in one basket, is pre-booking. I've already mentioned it before, but if you have your top guys who people want to see in your creative, your Rocky Goldens in this, or Roman Reigns example in WWE, if you're booking towards a pay-per-view and you've already highlighted some of the matches, put them on there. It will give the attendance a boost. But for your next TV show, if you are booking a show and you've got in mind like, oh, this will lead to that, get it on there. You will get a boost to attendance. It'll make you more money. Yeah, it's definitely worth doing. Same with a big angle. Get that booked on there, and then you can just move them over when you get to your booking screen. Dead simple. You've already done it beforehand. So yeah, that's my final tip on this. Hopefully you found something helpful. If you want more videos like this along the way, please like and subscribe. I love to bring more content. I am loving TEW9, and I'll catch you down the road. Bye.